ago, two women seeing a child struggling with crutches in downtown Salt Lake City were inspired to start what became Primary Children's Hospital.
Children are our future. And if we can have healthier children, they grow into healthier adults, I mean, it creates the future that we all want.
And the compassion that they have for the parents and the kids is just, it's next level. And I can't thank them enough.
We were so scared. We were so scared because we thought brain surgery, you know, it's like a major thing.
You never want to experience Primary Children's, but when you do, you're just so grateful.
I can't even tell you how awesome they were.
I had this moment that I just knew everything was going to be okay. I don't think it would be happening without Primary Children's.
Scarlett is where she is today because of the advancements in medicine. Why would you not want to help advance medicine to give a better quality of life for generations to come?
Thank you so much for your donations. It helped a lot.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the annual KSL Primary Children's Hospital Give-A-Thon. I'm Brooke Walker, alongside my friend and colleague Dan Spindle from the KSL Morning Show. The vibe in our studio this morning is really warm and really exciting.
It's bustling, too. There's so much activity because this is a day where we get to actually try to affect some change, raise some money. So many people this time of year, they want to give, they want to be generous, and they might not know how to spend their donation dollar. This is the place, your one-stop shop.
Primary Children's Hospital serving all of us, really, as you start to talk and uncover the stories of how this hospital has affected not only our community, but individual families who, you heard that one mom say, I knew everything was going to be okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the result more often than not, thanks in part to generous donations from the community, which is why we are here today. We have a very targeted goal. Our goal today is to raise as much money as possible.
Right. Yeah, there's no ceiling.
I'm just going to put it out there. The money going, of course, to the patients at Primary Children's Hospital. And we know there are so many generous people in our community who want to help the kids, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, Primary Children's Give-A-Thon this day. It's been a tradition here at KSL for decades. Yes. On the radio side, of course, a little bit longer than television, but we are so glad to join forces here in this important work. For over 45 years, you heard it on the radio. For 39 years, almost 4 decades, you've watched it on television, on KSL. Most recently, listeners from FM 100 and 103.5 The Arrow have joined in this effort, too. Now, since 1983, KSL has raised nearly $60 million. It's a project we have been honored to participate in because the work that happens at Primary Children's Hospital is so special.
It really is, Dan. And as you mentioned, our studio here at KSL Broadcast House is bustling with all of those partners, including our friends at KSL News Radio. Are they on the air? Are we on the air? We're on the air. Are you on the air? Doug Wright. Hi, Maria. Hi.
News break.
Well,
Hi.
This is perfect timing, right? To say hello.
Perfect.
We're so glad to be partnering with our friends, with you at KSL News Radio for this important cause. Why does this mean so much to you?
Oh, my goodness. I can't tell you the number of times my children have been up at the hospital for a variety of different things, you know, from croup to, you know, breaking a wrist, all sorts of things. And over the years, interviewing all these parents and children, they just make such a difference at Primary Children's Hospital, no matter what your illness is.
It's true. It affects everybody. Jeff Kaplan. I saw you sneak around there. Hi. Want to join me? Want to say hi to me?
Hi.
Be my friend.
How are you?
What makes you excited about this day?
I'm just getting started. Yes. I'm like filled with energy. This is such an opportunity to help what amounts to a Utah treasure, isn't it?
Totally, it is.
And so I get to spend a few hours just raising money, grinding it out. And I think Maria might check me. Dancing? Any dancing?
No dancing from me. Well, we tap dance.
What?
Anyway.
There was dancing I hear earlier. Were you part of that ensemble?
No, I'm just walking in, filled with energy, ready to burst.
Put your tap shoes on. It's going to be a little bit of a celebration today, of course, all with a focused, meaningful purpose of raising money for kids in the community. Dan, we're looking forward to that tap number by Jeff Kaplan a little bit later.
All right. And like Jeff said, he just got here and he's being put to work right away. That's what you got to do. Earn your keep when you're here. And we hope that you keep those donations coming. There are so many ways to donate. With modern technology, you can call the number on the screen. You can use the QR code. That's so easy. You open up your camera and you just scan it, right? Casey Scott is in the KSL lobby. There's a phone bank there, good old-fashioned phone bank, because that's a great way to talk to the volunteers as well who answer those calls. Casey, you're going to answer some calls? I mean, that's what people want to hear. They want to talk to Casey.
Well, if they call, I will answer.
There you go.
801-575-KIDS. And right now you can see the ladies and gentlemen, they're not picking up the phones yet because nobody's calling. But we want you to make that a reality by picking up the phone, calling 801-575-KIDS. You can also do it online. There's a QR code. Now, for a lot of you guys who don't know, that QR code is that little kind of like square thing in the bottom. All you have to do is pick up your phone, scan over that with a picture. It's going to bring up a yellow box. Click on it, and you can donate that way. You can also do it to kslkids.com. But here, I just want to do something real quick. Raise your hand if you or a loved one has ever used the services at Primary Children's Hospital. I mean, that ought to tell you right there that it's a valuable resource that we have right here in our own backyard. I can tell you from experience, my oldest daughter, Presley, who just barely turned 18, spent the first month of her life there. And it was such a blessing and a comfort to know that she was being taken care of by Primary Children's Hospital, where they put kids first. And so that's what we want to do today, is raise money and make sure that everybody gets the support, love, nurturing that they need. And Primary Children's Hospital is the perfect place to do that. So I want the phones to ring. So if you're watching this right now, pick up your cell phone, 801-575-KIDS. That's 5437. 801-575-5437. And make these phones ring so we can put these ladies and gentlemen to work and raise money for a wonderful cause. So that's what it's about today. We're going to have some wonderful heartfelt stories for you throughout the episode. And we're just glad that you're tuning in and joining us today. I'm going to throw it over to my good friend, Brooke, and we're going to see what she's got going on right now.
Casey, thank you so much. Dan and I just talking about how it is a tough year for everyone financially. We recognize that, but it's especially tough for those families who are staring at those hospital bills. So I think that's motivation enough to give what you can, whatever you can. Every little bit matters. 801-575-KIDS. Casey mentioned those heartfelt stories, and we'd like to share one of those with you now. You know, for many doctors, the dream of being a doctor, of one day practicing medicine, it begins at a really young age. It starts small.
It was something that happened to them, to their family, perhaps. This is a story you have to see to believe. You could not script a Hollywood movie better than this.
The hospital can be a very scary place, but I can say with my warped perspective from going as a child that I love being in the hospital.
At just 3.5 years old, John Hochstein's heart stopped working properly. He spent months patiently waiting at Primary Children's Hospital for a new one and somehow finding a way to have fun as time ticked by.
I remember my birthday too. I had a nice little birthday party and ended up getting this tricycle that I rode in the halls with a racing suit that we have a nice picture of.
John's memories of the hospital are all so positive. I was in a totally different world than him.
His mother, Barb, however, shouldered the seriousness of her son's situation and what it would take to save him.
You don't pray for something to happen to another child. You only pray for, if something does happen, that they make the decision to donate organs.
Losing Christopher was earth-shattering.
April Huff's 8-year-old brother, Christopher, passed away after being hit by a car. His mother paced Primary Children's as she processed her unimaginable loss and pondered a question no one is ever prepared to answer.
They discussed organ donation with my mother, and initially my mother was completely against it.
But one moment changed everything and the entire future for another family.
She walked past an ICU bed and she recalls seeing 2 little feet sticking out of the bottom of the blankets. She recalls asking what was wrong and being told that the little boy laying there was waiting on her heart. At that point is when she changed her mind and she decided to donate Christopher's organs.
Christopher's family never knew who received his heart until more than 20 years later, when 2 families realized what had happened in a Primary Children's hallway, connecting them for life.
It said that a 4-year-old little boy got his heart.
Those 2 little feet sticking out of a blanket?
Lo and behold, that was John.
Christopher's mom's difficult decision meant a healthy heart just in time for John.
It wasn't even clear to us if he was going to survive that day.
And in just the right size.
Christopher's 8 years old, John was 4, so there was a big difference in the heart size. It was also a perfect fit.
Christopher's tragedy gave John an incredible second chance.
And just this summer, John gave Christopher's mother a second chance to hear her son's heartbeat once again.
It's a blessing to get to share that with them and see how moving it was for them and how it moved them, how much it moved me.
Meeting John and his family was incredibly life-changing. You lose such a huge part of your life, and then you find out that the individual that was saved because of your loss is doing amazing things.
It's been such an honor to be able to have done so well with Christopher's heart.
I think if I could have chose, I would have chose John. If Christopher's heart had to go to someone, it would have been John for sure.
Ashley Moser, KSL 5 News.
Brings new meaning to the phrase giving heart, doesn't it? We'll update you. John now works in pediatric medicine and says he is inspired daily by his own experience and the work and care he received while as a patient at Primary Children's Hospital. He plans to name one of his children after Christopher one day. You know, nearly everyone in our state has been impacted by the good work done at Primary Children's Hospital. Everyone has a story, as we like to say. We recognize here at KSL what a treasure this facility is to our community, and we want to help them to be able to continue to provide the amazing services that they offer to families whose children spend time there. My friend Tamara Villafanua is up at the hospital this morning talking with caregivers about the important work that they do. Hi, Tamara. How are you?
Hi, Brooke. Doing great. Thanks so much. Yes, we are here at Primary Children's Hospital. It's wonderful to see that piece and how things have kind of come full circle. So I wanted to invite Dr. Antonio Cabrera, the chief cardiologist here at Primary Children's Hospital, to kind of talk about, you know, this over 27-year span, some of the advancements and expansions when it comes to heart care and what Primary Children's has been able to do.
Yes, thank you for having me. Over the last 27 years, there have been huge advances in cardiac care, particularly for children whose heart may not function well or that is formed in a way that may not deliver the output that it should. Particularly in the case of what you just displayed, life is a gift, and transplant is a second gift. So how do we get there? Number one, would improve technologies to reach patients who may show sick and then become very candidates for transplant. Machines that pump the heart, the blood of like the heart around the body. We also have come up with better valve technology, meaning that if your heart valves have issues or not form well, or for some reason they get wear and tear, we can put valves through the groin instead of having an operation, like a big IV going inside your heart. And last, we've managed to develop better medications to extend the life of organs. So we do know that transplant is a finite gift, but that's true for life too. We're now developing ways in which how we address tolerance for the heart and how we can keep those transplanted hearts staying longer.
It's really encouraging to hear, you know, the advancements and what you've been able to provide. Thanks so much, Dr. Cabrera. We appreciate your efforts here at Primary Children's Hospital. We'll go ahead and send it back to you guys in studio.
All right. Welcome back in over here. Again, the bustling studio here. We're very excited right now. We have a check presentation from Sugar House Industries. Mike Peterson is here. Mike, thanks for coming in.
Oh, pleasure.
Tell us why it's so exciting to do this for the Give-A-Thon.
Oh, my gosh. We have had so many amazing experiences at Primary Children's over the years, and it's just what an honor to be able to give back a little bit and help.
It hits close to home when you think about the children who, 7 years old is the average age of someone being treated at Primary Children's. They don't want to think about treatment. They want to think about being kids.
Oh, and for the parents, too. We had a 10-month-old up there, and as brand new parents, what a calming feeling it was looking around at the whole environment, and it brought us a lot of peace as parents, too. So it's great for the parents and the kids.
What would you say to the doctors and nurses and support staff at the hospital about your experience and about what others can anticipate?
Oh, it is just world-class care. They just... From start to finish, they take the best care of you. It's such an amazing experience.
Well, we're excited to show the check. Let's take a look right now. We have... Go ahead. Oh, there. Oh, I'm looking at the back. Okay, yeah. Here it is, folks. $5,000. Thank you so much. That courtesy of Sugar House Industries, and we want to show the tote board back behind us. All right, we had the drum roll. There it is. All right. right, $112,105 raised so far right now, and we just got started, folks. We are going to continue those donations. Mike, thanks so much to the good people of Sugar House Industries. Thank you so much. Katya Stepovic is out at Mountain America Expo Center. Katya, what's going on there? We've got all kinds of locations, all dedicated to getting more funds, more money, more donations that help children and families right here in the state of Utah and beyond.
That's absolutely right, Dan. And I'm telling you, it feels amazing out here. We are at the Festival of Trees in Sandy, and everyone here for such a great cause to benefit those children being cared for at Primary Children's Hospital. It is just a warm feeling after 2 years of not being able to do this in person. And I'm joined by Jeanette DeWolf, Executive Director of Primary Children's Foundation. And tell me, just start by saying, why are we here and what are we doing today?
Well, we're here because the community has supported Primary Children's for over 100 years. And Festival of Trees is one of our signature events that has been going on for over 50 years, so more than half of the age of the hospital. But the community really rallies around children and making sure that they have what they need so that we're helping to save and change children's lives.
And I've never been here before, a newbie-ish to Utah, and there's a feeling that is just undescribable. Families here with their children. What keeps people coming back for almost over 50 years now? That's incredible.
I think it's a holiday tradition. This kicks off the holiday season, and this is generational. It's over 80 volunteers on our board, thousands of volunteers who really put this on and help make it happen, and it goes on for generations. And so I think it's just one of those traditions in Utah, which is the most giving state in the country. It's another way to give back.
And we see everything from wreaths to decorations, quilts, trees. What can people expect if they come down here? And maybe if they don't necessarily want to bid thousands of dollars on a tree, what can they do to help?
They can go online and they can make a donation to festivalofTreesUtah.org and make a donation, and all donations count. Every penny is counted, every penny matters. And right now, we're in a historic campaign of Primary Promise, which is what Festival of Trees is going to support. It has 9 initiatives, and it's really to advance children's health care and to create the model health care system for children.
All for a good cause. It is the season of giving, and we will be here till 1 o'clock today for Giveathon. We'll be right back after the break.
Welcome back to KSL's Primary Children's Hospital Give-A-Thon coverage. On May 11th of this year, Primary Children's Hospital celebrated its 100th birthday. That's a remarkable milestone that started way back when 2 women saw a child in need and they stepped in to help. Today, this care continues by serving hundreds of thousands of children in our area. Peter Rosen shares Harrison O'Toole's story.
To 12-year-old Harrison O'Toole, this is just pickleball with Dad. But to his parents,
it's like watching a miracle that you're just so excited.
It's much more. That's because when Harrison was 5, he was diagnosed with Kawasaki disease. He had multiple heart attacks, needed a pacemaker, and then a heart transplant. So he went someplace kids have been going for 100 years, Intermountain Primary Children's Hospital. In 1911, the sight of a child with crutches struggling across the street inspired the creation of a children's ward at LDS Hospital. And then, 100 years ago, the first primary children's hospital across from Temple Square. What began with just convalescent care and a small staff now has 800-plus physicians, 3,000 caregivers, more than 60 specialties, and a second hospital campus under construction in Lehigh. As she celebrates Primary's 100 years, nurse and CEO Katie Welke thinks not about the building, but the people inside.
This hospital is about all of the people who come every day to give their heart and their minds and their souls taking care of patients, and then the patients and their families. And they're our family. I mean, they become part of who we are.
It's amazing. It's the best in the world. We are so grateful that we live close to a place like this.
After waiting in the hospital for 2 months, Harrison got a new heart and then the stamina to ski, camp, play ball, compete at the transplant games.
I can run around and play with friends and play sports.
And play pickleball with Dad.
Yeah, it's quite a blessing.
Thanks to Primary Children's, Harrison has a healthy heart.
We're excited for his future. He really could do anything.
And a future.
That's why we're here. We're here to make a difference for children and their families.
I'm Peter Rosen for KSL.
Oh, Peter, thank you. It hits your heart knowing that Harrison has this new lease on life and you see him doing the things that kids do. Intermountain is taking the commitment of the child first and always to the next level through a sweeping $600 million promise to build the nation's model health system for children. Now, a promise that is funded partially through your donations from community members. The new campaign is called The Primary Promise. Mike Hedrick now gives us a look at what this really means.
In January 2020, Primary Children's Hospital unveiled its plan to build the nation's model health system for children, which would include a new children's hospital to be built in Utah County. This effort inspired a large donation from Gail Miller and family.
I'd like to thank Gail and her family for an extraordinary gift of $50 million to kick off this.
The model health system unveiled is now known as the Primary Promise.
A truly inspiring gift for a truly inspiring cause.
We need a model that creates an interconnectedness across the entire continuum of kids' health.
The concept of the Primary Promise all began with a simple question.
What is it that we need to do to elevate the health of our community and to build a model health system that won't just impact the children of today in Utah, but are creating a foundation of healthier children and healthier adults for generations to come.
They focused on 4 areas of concentration as their building blocks.
The first was the creation of a fetal center.
A comprehensive care facility that takes care of mothers that are high risk and high-risk pregnancies.
Whether that's a genetic disorder or a mass on the lungs or a mass on the heart.
This facility provides care from diagnosis all the way through post-care.
So the advantages are just remarkable that are happening in fetal surgery.
Next, they went to work improving the newborn intensive care unit.
So we completely rebuilt the NICU, doubled the size of the NICU, and only added 1 bed, which means all of that extra space is there for the patients, the families, the caregivers to just elevate care. And really create a better healing environment.
And likewise, they significantly improved the cancer transfusion area, transforming what was once a dark, dreary place into one full of light, a space more supportive of the care being given there.
And so we knew how important it was to really change that environment completely and get them into an environment that was hopeful and healing.
And the final building block of the Primary Promise is research.
There are literally hundreds and thousands of diseases that impact children from a congenital standpoint or a genetic standpoint that need research and need those cures. Because if it's your child that has that diagnosis, if it's your child that has that disease, you want as much being done as possible.
Currently, they're working on the Heredogene Population Survey, which aims to study the genes of thousands of participants so they can better predict and prevent serious diseases from happening in the future.
So Heredogene will really be helping future generations and really helping us with understanding different diseases and then finding cures for those diseases.
The hospital is also now using what is called a rapid whole genome sequencing test to help children whose conditions are difficult to diagnose.
I think one of the most difficult things for families is to not know. The rapid whole genome sequencing helps us understand how we can best care for the individual and really tailor the entire plan of care for the individual.
Over the past few years, the hospital has also been building up the pediatric care network, using telehealth and digital technology, making it possible to bring specialized care far beyond the Wasatch Front and closer to home for those in the outlying communities. All of this is part of the Primary Promise. And now, very soon, the new 66-bed Children's Hospital and Outpatient Center in Lehigh will extend the excellent care that exists at Primary Children's.
You can't do something like this, you can't elevate healthcare unless you have an incredibly strong foundation. And we have that foundation with what's been done at Primary Children's Hospital over the last 100 years.
And here live to talk a little bit more about that strong foundation when it comes to Primary Promise, I want to bring in Katie Wilkie, Chief Executive Officer of Primary Children's Hospital. And so you hear so much about creating this model, right, for children's, for the nation's health. For you personally, having worked in the healthcare industry as a nurse, what does that mean for you personally?
Well, I really think about the kids, not only the kids we're treating here at the hospital, but all of the children and how we can help them reach their full potential. And that's what we're trying to do. So thinking about how we make sure when kids are sick, we provide the very best care, but also think about how do we give them the best chance of being able to read, to go into school, to have the best mental health and resiliency that they possibly can.
Yeah, it sounds like you're really trying to connect a bunch of resources. You talked about mental health, also behavioral health as well. How does that tie in when we have parents at home listening to this who, are thinking about this care, and it's very coordinated, but you're talking a lot about mental health.
Yeah. So part of the new Primary Promise is actually opening new behavioral health resources in the Miller campus or the Lehigh campus, which is going to be wonderful. But we're also looking at programs that give us a one-number access line that parents, providers can call in and really get kids into the right care at the right time. And then finally, we're looking at expanding our behavioral health campus and adding more beds because we know that we need that. And then new programs that provide different types of behavioral health for kids that are, whether it's just for the day or for a part of the day, and really thinking about all of the possible needs kids could have.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for your time. We really appreciate it, learning a little bit more about what goes on here at Primary Children's Hospital. We'll go ahead and send it back to you guys.
The stories are also touching with these families locally here, and maybe you've experienced something like this. The Primary Promise, it's an exciting venture today, helping kids to get the care that they need through donations. That's our goal. Like we said, we want to raise as much as we can. We have to invite you all out there to be part of that goal. Please donate if you can.
It's easy to do. All you have to do is pick up the phone, call, or go online at kslkids.com to make your donation. You can also use that handy dandy, look at that modern little square on your screen. The QR code is what it's called. It will link you directly to our donation page, so we're making it as easy as possible.
They never leave it up long enough. You're at a sporting event or something, you're at the store. Yeah, we've got it up all day long, folks. Look at that lower third. Yep. It's there in the corner of your screen.
Making it easy. We hope you will step up and help us today, raise money for the kids. And today there are thousands of children, thousands of kids who have already benefited from the advancements made through that Primary Promise initiative. Abigail Rose is one of those patients.
Yeah, her treatment began before she was even born at the new fetal center. Deanie Wimmer now has this story.
My name is Alicia. This is Abigail Rose. She is 14 months old and has spina bifida.
Alicia was told early in her pregnancy that something may be wrong.
We got a phone call saying your alpha fetal protein is elevated, which indicates potentially a neural tube defect.
Shortly thereafter, it was confirmed that Abigail had spina bifida.
A lot of fear, and it was mainly fear of the unknowns. Will she be able to walk? Will she be able to crawl? Will she be able to talk? Does she need a shunt? Does she need this? Does she need that? What will her future look like?
But the Statons didn't want to be ruled by their fears.
When we got the diagnosis, we did our homework. We knew of areas that offered fetal surgery.
In collaboration with a team of specialists from the University of Utah and the Utah Fetal Center at Primary Children's Hospital, they decided an in utero fetal surgery would be the right choice for them.
The procedure we had was an open myeliomeningocele repair, which is fetal surgery in utero, meaning she was still pregnant.
The surgery was a first in the state of Utah.
From my own experience, it's the scariest yet most rewarding journey we've been on. And it was just a beautiful moment to see these physicians and Primary Children's, University of Utah, all these physicians just coming together for the well-being of one little human being.
After she was born, Abigail Rose didn't need shunts like many spina bifida cases or any other additional surgeries.
We're thankful that she's here and that she's doing as well as she's doing. And we're thankful for such a great team. We couldn't have done it. We still can't do it without them.
Today, the future's looking bright for little Abigail.
She just started working on pulling herself up. She has also just semi-mastered the army crawl. Look how fast you're going. Her vocabulary is starting to increase substantially. I mean, on every other standpoint, she's really an average 14-month-old baby.
Meaningful milestones this family doesn't take for granted.
that this is our journey and we're gonna write it the best we can and let her write her story. I just had this aha moment, this epiphany that God put a flame and a light on her for a reason, and she's going to do amazing things.
No doubt. Amazing things. This family says they wouldn't be here where they are today without the donations from people like you, the donations for Primary Promise. They allow this type of research. They allow all of these great things happening at Primary Children's. They take place because of your generosity.
That hits where it should, knowing that your dollars are going where they can really make a difference. All right, we've said it before, but everyone seems to be impacted by Primary Children's Hospital. Are you ready to be impressed?
I am.
I'm going to run
Impress
some numbers.
me.
These are impressive numbers. According to the 2021 Primary Children's Hospital statistics, more than 86,000 patients were seen at the hospital last year. That's an average of more than 180 kids per day. Think about that. Going through the doors of that hospital, the average age of patients seen is 7 years old. There are more than 3,500 caregivers, those angels up there walking the halls who make up the hospital staff at Primary Children's. The hospital cares for kids from birth, even before birth, we've talked about today on this show, clear through the age of 81. There are so many reasons as you consider the impact of those. I realize those are statistics, but they carry a very personal impact. There's so many reasons to donate.
Well, you've got kids. I've got kids. My kids range in age from 9 to 19 now. And so, yes, that's the age range we're looking at. Kids up to 21 years old, they need the help, and they can get the help right now from all of you out there.
We hope the phones are ringing, and we're going to confirm that as we go to Casey Scott at the phone bank. Casey, how's it going out there in the KSL lobby?
You know what? The phones are starting to ring now. As you can see, some people have got the headset up to them, but we are wanting more calls, and you can make that happen by calling 801-575-KIDS. That's 801-575-5437. Ladies and gentlemen are standing by to take your donations, and right now is a good time because we've got a match going on. That means for the next 30 minutes, one kind act a day is going to match your dollar for dollar. So 10 becomes 20, 20 becomes 40, 40 becomes 80, and you can make that happen by right now calling 801-575-KIDS. That's 801-575-5437. Or you can also just hit that little QR code right below. Pull out your phone, go to the camera, hover over the QR code. It's going to bring up a yellow box. Hit that box, and it's another way to donate. Or if you want, you can do it online at kslkids.com and make sure that happens. But as you can see, we got people over here picking up the phone. But we're going to come over here and talk to this lady in the middle because you don't have anybody talking to you. How are you?
Good. How are you?
So now, what made you want to be a part of the magic that is the Donation Day today?
Oh, I think it's a wonderful opportunity to give back to the community.
And you know what, to be honest, I mean, that's what Christmas is all about, is giving, right?
Absolutely.
So whether you're giving your time, your money, or your heart, that's what it's all about. Primary Children's Hospital could love and really use your support and need some of your money. So give them a call, 801-575-KIDS. Right now it's time to go back to Dan and Brooke because I think we've got a new total. Let's see what it's up to.
We do. It sounds like jingle bells when the phones ring. It's so exciting. It's all amounting to, as Casey said, a new total.
Jingle bells and a drum roll. Do we have a drum roll?
Let's do it.
There it is.
So far we have raised, give it to us.
Oh!
Whoa, it's still climbing. $127,342 thanks to your demonstrations. Can I get a round of applause if your hands aren't busy with the phone?
There we go.
That's something to celebrate for sure. Every dollar of that going to help kids in our community, that's a lot of money.
It's incredible, and it's going up and up and up all day long. As you help out, as you make your donations, you can see that number go up. The number is important because it's funding for children, funding for families. Now, hearing that your child has cancer, it would stop you in your tracks.
Absolutely.
Change your life, changes everything. It's something you cannot possibly prepare for, but having a first-class hospital with doctors that you can trust, that makes all the difference. The Beard family found out the right person for their son, Miller, was right there in the hospital. Here's that story.
Where'd that dog come from? Get that dog out. Miller is, we call him Silly Millie. He is witty, he is creative, he has a phenomenal imagination.
He reminds me a lot of the way kids used to be growing up, where you don't need much, but an imagination and whatever's around you.
He's just a fun-loving, silly guy.
I want to be an astronaut.
His dream is to go to space.
I just think it'd be cool to go into space and see all that, and for my family to look up and say, hey, look, Miller's up there.
Okay, Ella, your turn. Don't. Miller has acute lymphoblastic leukemia. It's B-cell ALL, and he was diagnosed in January 21 of 2021.
I first met him when he came into the hospital after a couple months of feeling pretty tired and looking more pale.
Miller had told us that he was not feeling well, that his legs were hurting.
She took him into the clinic to our doctor and ran some blood tests, and then she took him back to school. I just figured it would be a normal day.
When the family doctor called me an hour after labs were drawn and said, wherever he is, go get him and take him to Primary Children's immediately, that was scary.
It was really scary because I just thought that I was going to be in the hospital for the rest of my life and never get to see any of my friends or family again.
I was there all by myself, and to make that call to my husband and tell him, you need to find someone to watch the kids and you need to get down here with us.
I don't even know how I got to the hospital. To make that drive was pretty intense.
Before I got cancer, I was always thinking, I would see stuff on the news and movies, and I would always think, that stuff could never happen to me, and then it did.
Hearing the word cancer is so scary, and I think a lot of kids and even parents picture not surviving this, and so I always try to make a point to say my plan is to make sure that you go on to lead a long and healthy life and make sure that they know that that is our goal.
Hello, I don't know who you are. One really big thing that I learned is that everything can change in an instant.
Miller has a good prognosis for the future. I anticipate he is going to do great, and I am going to get to see him in our survivorship clinic for years and years.
You never want to experience Primary Children's, but when you do, you're just so grateful.
The compassion that they have for the parents and the kids, it's next level.
They really are like angels on earth that walk the hallways there.
It's that charity, that pure love that really gets you each story after story. Miller is still undergoing treatment for his cancer. His prognosis is good. Dr. Parker has said that she expects him to lead a very long and healthy life. After his chemo treatments are finished, Miller has plans to hike to the top of Adams Canyon in Davis County. Now, with money raised through the Primary Promise, the hospital has been able to upgrade the Cancer Treatment Center. The new center is a more beautiful space that provides more comfort for the patients undergoing that rough chemotherapy and other treatments for patients who have to be at the hospital a whole lot. It's a huge improvement. The hospital has a new cancer survivorship clinic now, too. Brooke is with someone who can tell us all about that. Brooke?
Yes, I'm joined by Dr. Douglas Fair. He's passionate about improving the quality of life for cancer patients, so I have a feeling this new oncology clinic is something you're passionate about as well.
I am.
Welcome, Dr. Fair. Thank you for being here on this important day. So as I understand it, even after you've survived cancer, health problems can develop years after a child is done with treatment, and those long-term effects look different child to child. How does this survivorship clinic help with that long-term care?
Yeah, it's a really important topic and one that's really come to the fore in pediatric oncology in the last 5 or 10 years, and we're really proud of what we're doing at Primaries. About 85% of all childhood cancer patients will become long-term survivors, and the great majority of them, 75 to 95% of them, will have late effects or long-term problems after they're done with cancer.
And that's where this clinic comes into play.
Yeah, and I think we kind of break it down into two pieces. One is the screening and the treatment of late effects. And I think the other part is really looking at the whole person and treating them holistically, because surviving cancer doesn't just affect the body, it affects the family, affects psychosocial, financial issues. And so we really are proud to have both of those.
I wanted to ask you about that. I mean, you hear the word cancer and there's an immediate heaviness or a weight that comes with that. You hear pediatric cancer and that weight feels all the more heavy. How are you working through this clinic and with your team to help support those emotional needs of the young patients that you're treating?
Yeah, I think it's so important because, again, we still have a ways to go. 85% is not 100%, but we are able to cure a lot of patients, but we leave them with a lot of challenges, again, medically, but also psychosocially and emotionally, as you mentioned. And I think until our survivorship clinic, I think after we finished therapy, there wasn't a whole lot of programs or opportunities to really help the patient or the family ongoing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the work that you're doing and for telling us about it. It's programs like this, the reason why we're here. So we hope that you will step up today, join our team as we try to raise money for the kids at Primary Children's Hospital. Thanks again, Dr. Fair.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more inspiring stories as the KSL Give-A-Thon continues today on KSL. Welcome back to the KSL Give-A-Thon for Primary Children's Hospital. I'm Brooke Walker alongside Dan Spindle. We are teaming up with our friends at KSL News Radio, FM 100. The Arrow is here as well, and all of these wonderful volunteers taking your calls to, again, raise money for the hospital. We hope you'll help us. Pick up the phone or go to kslkids.com and be part of the Primary Promise, as it's being called right now.
It feels like we have dozens, if not 100 people, just all active all around us right now, trying to get those donations in to help so many people. Research is a huge part of the new Primary Promise at the hospital, and the heredity study is part of that research. Scarlett Hill's family is happy to participate in this project, so here's their story.
Oh, Scarlett, she makes us smile with everything that she does every day. She really is the sunshine in our home. When I was pregnant with Scarlett, we found out that she was missing the middle portion of her brain, which is called the corpus callosum. It just separates the right and left brain, and that in and of itself is just developmental delay. But they did say there was a chance, a 10% chance that she can have another genetic disorder. And as soon as she was born, we knew right away, just on her physical appearance, that something else was going on. We weren't sure if she would walk or she would talk. We weren't sure what kind of medical problems she'd have down the road. And so we just take it day by day. Dr. Bonkowski, we've been with him since the beginning. He was even part of the team when she was first diagnosed when I was pregnant. And so she started seeing him right on day one. And he's been wonderful. So Dr. Bonkowski got us into genetic testing, and from there we found that she has a few abnormalities, but unfortunately they don't know anything about those genes.
To help medical professionals better understand Scarlett's condition, the Hills were invited to participate in the heredity population study at Primary Children's Hospital.
So the heredity children's study is a large study doing genomic mapping for children, and it's the largest study of its kind in the world.
This study aims to help better predict and prevent serious diseases in the future.
Our goal has been to enroll 50,000 children to understand how genes and genomics influences both disease or can cause disease, as well as to understand how in good situations it can be kind of a force for health.
There's so much about genetics that we don't know, and so this study is hopefully going to help us better learn and understand why genes can lead to certain diseases, maybe helping patients if they have the same disease but different genetic makeup, kind of treatment that will work better for them and be a little bit more personalized.
We went in and they just do a cheek swab. It doesn't hurt. It is easy and fast, and the kids didn't have a problem with it at all.
And then the purpose of that is just so that we can look at the genes from a bunch of different people and hopefully make new discoveries in science.
Scarlett's willingness to participate helps us say, okay, for these kids, what are the things that are kind of going on with their genetics? Are there certain treatments that we haven't even thought of? The stuff we're doing today, now on heredity and children's study, they're the things that, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, they'll be in the textbooks. They'll be like, oh yeah, we discovered this. This is how you prevent this disease. So it's really laying the future of children's health.
When I told my family about heredity as well and how I would love for them to be a part of it, they were excited about it. Why not? Why would you not want to help advance medicine to give a better quality of life for generations to come?
Hey, I'm sorry about that. I was just talking to the ladies back there, and I'm to that age now where I have to take off my glasses to read and my glasses to see and all kinds of stuff. So right now you're probably asking yourself, Casey, what's a smile maker? Well, a smile maker is a way to donate all year long to the Children's Primary Hospital. I'm sorry I'm having a hard time. A smile maker is a monthly donor. Anyone is welcome to make a gift that will automatically charge their card they provide you each month. Every month the donations will go to the hospital, and that's what a smile maker is. But right now, a smile maker would be my man Andy, and Andy's with J&J Nursery. Come on in real quick. And J&J Nursery is proud to be giving us a donation. Tell me how this came to be.
So, you know, I actually had a child that was up at Primary Children's when he was about 2.5, and they actually diagnosed him. He was really sick, had him at another hospital, brought him to Primary Children's, and they diagnosed him overnight and actually ended up saving his life. And so my dad, being one of the owners of J&J Nursery, wanted to be involved in something to give back. And so we've jumped in and become the Smile Maker sponsor for the Primary Children's Give-A-Thon.
And I love that. And there's a check for $1,500. And of course, J&J Nursery right up there in Davis County. And behind me, I've got a bunch of ladies from Davis County. Make some noise, ladies. Well, they can make noise because the phone's not ringing. We want you to make that phone ring. 801-575-KIDS. That's 801-575-5437. But it's not only this check.
No, Casey, I'd like to, this is personally for my father, David Stevenson, but I would like to give you a check, and I'm going to let you go ahead, and I'm going to let you read it, okay?
$15,000. $15,000, a personal check from David Stevenson and J&J Nursery. Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Oh, that's amazing, and that's what it's all about. 801-575-KIDS. You could also go to KSLKids.com or just scan the QR code at the bottom of your screen. Help out. It's the Give-A-Thon going on all day today. We're going to throw it to Brooke and Dan and see what they've got going on right now.
Wow.
$15,000.
Chills.
Amazing.
Chills.
Jaws dropped.
Yeah, there was a rumble
Wow.
in here, Casey. That's a big number, and it's a number that will do a lot of
Oh, yeah.
good. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Incredible.
And it speaks to the personal nature of this hospital, of this facility. Everyone has a story and a connection, which makes this an easy ask on our part for you to step up and donate today. We do have a donor match going on right now. The group One Kind Act a Day, they have committed to match all donations coming in for just the next 30 minutes.
Okay.
So the clock is ticking. Take a minute. Go online at kslkids.com. You can donate there as well. We've also made it extra easy with that QR code. We're so fancy and modern these days.
That's right.
Just hold your phone up, take a snap, and it will take you directly to the link, but you can also call 575-5437.
What do you call with? I mean, do these things make calls too?
Apparently, if you push buttons, hold them to your ear.
My computer is a smartphone. Oh,
Someone
it's a phone.
will talk to
Got
you.
it. Okay. Hey, when a child has a diagnosis that can be life-threatening, maybe brings with it uncertainty about how long that child will survive, Primary Children's Hospital creates a palliative team to help care for every aspect of that child's life. Now, this group of professionals work together to help everyone in the family. Carol Makita now introduces us to the Bliley's family and their favorite nurse.
Oh, yeah. Emmett Bliley is a lively, happy 5-year-old, but every day of his life, his parents say, is a gift.
He goes through things that I couldn't even imagine going through, and he handles it with such a grace.
When he was just 2.5 months old, Jace and Riley experienced several anxious days at Primary Children's Hospital, and then came the shocking diagnosis.
We got a whole mess of things affecting pretty much his whole body, from his brain to pancreas, liver. I mean, just because of that process isn't working right. Like 70 to 80% of the kids that they know about with the diagnosis don't make it past 1. So she was devastated. I was devastated.
Emmett has glycosylation, a rare genetic disorder. There are only about 1,200 cases in the world, 200 in the U.S., and only Emmett in Utah.
And there was a really big learning curve for us, but also for our doctors, trying to take care of us and trying to give us answers. We had so many questions and, very, very few answers.
They say they have lost count of how many times doctors and nurses at Primary Children's saved Emmett's life. He cannot walk or speak and needs a feeding tube. Everyone who meets him feels his enthusiasm for life.
He has lit up the room since he was a baby. He is affectionate. He wants to be with people. He's very, very social.
Jamie Seal is Emmett's nurse, caring for him since he was a year old.
We like to make sure that the children have the best quality of life that they can, that they really can experience the joy and the happiness that all children really should have.
A palliative care team meets the needs of the child with an unknown life expectancy and his or her family. This group includes doctors, nurses, child life specialists, social workers, and a chaplain.
And so we have to support those families, those parents, because they are the voice of their children, and they are the ones who have to make these incredibly difficult decisions, and we don't want them to have to do it alone.
And during COVID and isolation, the PCH team was there for the Blileys.
They have that saying that not all heroes wear capes, and I totally believe that, being in the hospital at Primary Children's.
And they're the ones that are like there to kind of to pick your pieces up because you can't do it yourself, you know, and so they literally are our second family.
Emmett is thriving, they say.
There's something about him that people are just like, he sees into my soul, you know, like he looks at you and you know that like he can't talk to you, but he understands you. And
they credit the remarkable medical team and the care that he receives from the hearts of Primary Children's professionals.
So we want to focus on that whole family and that whole child. We want to make sure that they have as much joy as possible.
Yay, Emmett!
Joy is the word his nurse and his parents use to describe Emmett. It is, they say, what they want for him and what he brings to the world. Carol Makita, KSL 5 News.
What a handsome guy who we got to meet just a few minutes ago, and you will too. Today we celebrate the kids and the hospital programs that help them heal. Now, I'm told one of Emmett's favorite places to be in the hospital is an area known as expressive therapies. Primary Children's is a national leader in this area. It might not involve traditional medicine, but it is viewed as an important part of the overall healing process. So think music, art, and dance therapies. They are all used every day at the hospital as part of that healing process. These programs help thousands of patients heal and recover each year. The money for these programs comes from donations like the ones we're asking for today, those donations given to the hospital. So if you want to help kids heal through this awesome, creative, and magical program, be generous in your support of the Give-A-Thon today. Pick up the phone now to give. And now to our man of the hour, Emmett. He's having kind of a grumpy morning, which is a mom I can appreciate, right? We get it, but those bubbles are helping. The phone is helping too. I'm also joined by his parents, Riley and Jace, and this is Sarah Schmidt, one of his therapists, keeping him happy with the bubbles. Thanks for being here, you guys.
Of course.
Expressive therapies, what does this mean to your son, this extra program?
Oh, it's everything. You know, there are a lot of hospital stays that we have where Emmett is bedridden and he can't move and he can't get out. You know, a lot of times he's got a virus that you can't leave your room because you're going to expose other children in the hospital. And so to have somebody come in, you know, Sarah sets up a speaker, they have all sorts of stuff that they use, and the two of them just jam for an hour, and it's the greatest thing for him. It gets him moving, it gets him excited. Right. You know, we've had experiences where, you know, he's had a really difficult surgery after being in septic shock, and he's in a lot of pain. And, you know, Jason and I struggled for a long time to try to calm him down and get him comfortable, and our music therapist walked in. You know, she turned down the lights, she brought out her guitar, and she sang Emmett to sleep. And, you know, as a mom, that's... It's something special to watch, yes. It is. And these programs, you know, we didn't know that they were donation-based until this year. And so it's even more important to us that these programs stay afloat because it's just everything for us. It makes the difference in a hospital stay.
Thank you for sharing your story. And you felt that too, Jace, I know, from the fatherly perspective. Changing a mood of your child does mean everything, and it is special.
Right.
Dance is part of that. Bubble's part of it too, I know. Sarah, can you give us a taste of what you do?
Yeah, so as a dance movement therapist, a lot of what I do is help Emmett express how he's feeling and also give him a chance to like squash bubbles.
Yeah, get it, buddy.
Moving in whatever way feels good in that moment. Smash it.
We'd like to see the dance side of expressive
You want to see
therapy.
the dance?
Is that okay?
So a lot of what we do is less dancing, but Emmett's a pretty good dancer.
He's a shaker. He's a mover.
Hold on, listen.
Emmett.
Who is it? Oh my gosh. You show me your dance moves. Oh, there's that move together.
Yeah, constantly. He's like,
okay, ready? Can you go into dance mode?
can you dance, Em?
We are going to dance the day away and dance to break. You are watching the KSL Primary Children's Give-A-Thon, raising money for kids just like Emmett. We hope you'll call. We hope you'll donate. And we're all shaken with Emmett today. We'll be right back, everybody.
If I see you going down that road, then I won't let you. I'll catch you, no matter how far you fall.
Hey everybody, welcome in and welcome back to the KSL Primary Children's Hospital Give-A-Thon to benefit Primary Children's, raising money for the kids, for their families. We hope you will join us. We hope you're feeling generous. The hospital is celebrating 100 years. What better way to say thank you and to say happy birthday, happy anniversary than to donate if you can.
That's a big birthday, too.
Yes, it
I
is.
think a big
100
gift
years
is in order, and we've seen some generous donations already this morning. We're watching the total closely because our goal, as we've been saying all morning with you, is to help raise as much money as we can today to help help those kids and their families who are struggling through oftentimes the worst trial of their lives.
Yeah.
Since its founding in 1922, Primary Children's has been driven by a dedication to its motto, which is the child first and always. Everything they do, every decision they make is about what's best for the child now and forever.
It's fantastic. We want to show you. I wish we had a big lever. Let's just step out of the way. Vanna White style. How about it? We have $154,815. How about a round of applause, everybody, for the new total? Yes.
We love
They're busy.
it.
They're on the phones.
The applause would be louder, yeah, but hands are busy.
They're
so
working.
That's a good thing. Casey, we hope the hands are busy out there in the KSL lobby, too.
You know what? As we sit here, the phone is ringing. The ladies on both sides of me just picked up the phone to take donations, and you can make donations 801-575-KIDS. You can also do it online at kslkids.com, or there's that QR code. Just grab it. Let me try this real quick. Give-A-Thon, this is Casey. Who's this? Hi, Viola. You're live on air with us right now, and I'm going to take down your information in just a second. But first and foremost, why are you calling us? You want to help the children. And so how much are you donating right now? $50, Viola. Thank you very much. And that's what you can do. Pick up the phone, 801-575-KIDS. You can also go to kslkids.com or the QR code. That's the way to do it. I'm going to send it back to Brooke because, well, I got to answer the phone. We're raising money for a
Get
great
busy,
cause.
buddy. Get busy. Thank you so much. That's so fun to see those phones ringing so furiously. Keep it coming, everybody. Keep it coming. You know, one word we've heard all morning as we talk to patients and their families is the word special. There are so many special things about this hospital. And one of the things they do at the hospital to help the kids feel comforted is a program that needs donations of another kind, the kind that is stitched with love. Shara Park explains.
I love these blankets so much.
This closet stores items considered extremely valuable at Primary Children's Hospital.
They are such a treasured gift and beloved part of the hospital. And again, we try to provide every single patient who comes to our hospital with one.
From flannel receiving blankets to tied fleece blankets and beautifully stitched quilts.
Like someone took a lot of time to make this one too.
Each blanket will provide much needed comfort. The hospital also tries to make sure each blanket is a perfect match for the patient.
So some patients might love car or a truck.
Or a cute, happy puppy.
And I can't tell you the number of patients I see that walk around the hospital just covered in their little blankets, and we'll just load them on.
Kelly Casey is the gift and kind coordinator at Primary Children's Hospital and says the need for blankets is especially high right now.
We've been having a lot of patients at the hospital recently. We are utilizing these blankets more than we ever have, or more than I've ever seen us. So we do have a really high need for them, especially as the winter months are coming.
These blankets provide so much more than warmth.
For the parents, it means the world to the parents knowing that the community is thinking about their patient.
And often these parents return with their own donation, including parents who lost a child.
So many times their families are coming back every year on their angelversary or the birthday of that member of their family who passed away. And they will give back because they had this treasured possession, and it does bring them comfort.
A cycle of generosity that begins with a simple donation that will have a big impact on a child during their greatest time of need. No doubt, these blankets will never be taken for granted. Shara Park, KSL 5 News.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tamara Vifanua here at Primary Children's Hospital, and we talk a lot about, the power of example. And because of the example that all of the community has set forth today as far as donations, I want to introduce you to Bob Campbell because he was actually at home today listening to KSL News Radio, his good friend Doug Wright, where he felt compelled to act and to help Primary Children's Hospital. We want to thank you, and you would like to make a special announcement when it comes to our Give-A-Thon.
You betcha. When I heard Doug, and it's my grandson, his name is Joseph, we call him Little Joe, and he has RSV right now, and he was being driven up by his father, my son, Alex, to come up here, and all of a sudden the telethon was on, and I knew exactly what I needed to do. I was struggling at the time. What can I do? Because I just at home, and my wife is watching the other grandchild, and so it hit on me, and Doug and I have done things like this in the past, so I immediately got on the phone, donated $1,000, and I said, Doug, I got a better idea. I'll match up to $10,000 for all those other grandparents out there that are at home and feel like they can't do something. So I'm hoping those grandparents that are listening to my voice, if your child's up here at Primary Children's Hospital, you feel like you want to do something, this is what you should do. You should put your money where your mouth is and actually do something about it in your life. And same with anybody in small business. This is a great, worthy cause. And do something that makes a difference. And especially with these young kids, the most innocent of people out there. They can't protect themselves. And they're the ones that type of innocent that we need to protect.
Wow, what a generous donation. So matching funds up to $10,000. And real quick before we let you go, you're also presenting Primary Children's Hospital with a gift.
I am. This is a special paperweight. In the collector field, we call this the Heber J. Grant paperweight. He's president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And on his birthday in 1935, he did a special fundraiser. That was when they changed the name from the affiliate with LDS Hospital on to its own Primary Children's Hospital. And he personally made up 1,000 of these, and it's a 1935 silver dollar. It's an S mint on the back. San Francisco, we know that because somebody's tried to pry one of these apart. And these special paperweights are solid brass. They're made by Salt Lake Stamp. The initials are underneath the dollar. And these are really collectible. There's only 1,000 around. You got to remember, 1935, $1,000. I'm sure that's like $100,000 today, but they raised it in the Depression, $100,000.
Your generosity is priceless. Thanks so much, Bob Campbell.
My pleasure.
Thank you for your example. Thank you for matching donations of up to $10,000 today.
Yep.
Just incredible. We appreciate your support.
Get some real good money for this. And my son Alex that I mentioned earlier, 28 years ago, he had RSV, and it almost took his life. So I felt like I can do something today, and that's why I'm here.
I hope your grandson will be okay.
I hope so.
Thank you. All right, we'll send it back to you guys.
All right, we are at the Festival of Trees. Everything is in full swing here. You can smell the Peruvian cream scones. I mean, look at all these trees. I'm joined by you guys, even more special. Becky and Madeline, you guys have moved me. I've been talking to you all morning. Tell me a little bit about what brings you here. You've been doing this for over 18 years.
Yes, so I'm the chairperson over large trees for the executive board for Festival of Trees, and we just gather all of these creations and we set them up, and they are live auction being sold right now. We're so happy to be back live in person.
And your daughter, Madeline, you've been a patient at Primary Children's for your whole life. Tell me about your experience.
My craniofacial team is amazing, and I consider them a second family. They have treated my whole entire family and every other child that I know at Primary Children's. They love their experiences every day and every time that they get to go there.
And this mom-daughter duo put together this amazing presentation, this tree that you guys donated. Tell me a little bit about what went into this creation.
So it was a surprise for Madeline. She's 18 now, and so this was our gift this year for a surprise for her. We named it Hopes and Dreams. Because her hopes and dreams are vast and lovely, and she is lovely as well, inside and out. She's endured 44 surgeries at this amazing hospital, which makes it even more endearing for us to be able to give back to this cause and to this hospital, because it has absolutely changed all of our lives for the better. Ours is a celebration. We're thrilled that she's here, and she's just beautiful. And so we kind of fibbed a little bit and did this behind the scenes, which this was a fun surprise last night to share this with her. We have a huge committee that help everything from, we've got a quilt with her favorite colors that was handcrafted from a friend that's in St. George. Wow. So lots of help, lots of volunteers.
So incredibly moving, and so many families out there needing your donation. If you can do anything, please give the gift of giving this season. Guys, back to you.
Katia, thank you so much. Today really is all about giving and mostly all about the kids. And with that in mind, we have a real treat for you now, a musical number by One Voice Children's Choir.
Yeah, the choir is comprised of children of ages 4 through 18 living here along the Wasatch Front with more than 4 million subscribers on YouTube. This group has become a household name, a phenomenon.
They're amazing. Most recently, they have been a part of the FM 100 concert series out at Southtown Mall. And their mission, as we know, is to inspire the world through the power of children's voices, and they fulfill that mission very well. Joining us today to sing a holiday melody.
Joyful
Joyful, joyful Lord, we adore thee. God of glory, Lord of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before thee. Hail thee as the sun above. Melt the clouds of sin and sadness. Dry the dark of doubt away. Giver of immortal gladness, fill us with the light of day. Joyful, joyful Lord, we adore thee. God of glory, Lord of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before thee. Hail thee as the sun above. Melt the clouds of sin and sadness. Drive the dark of doubt away. Drive it away. Giver of immortal
Hi, everybody. If you are just joining us here at KSL, we want to welcome you to the KSL Primary Children's Give-A-Thon, where we're raising money for various programs at the hospital. Now, these programs help families in both life and death situations.
Yeah, we're going to take a little bit of a tender turn right now, because when you think about the situation, a child being diagnosed with a terminal illness, it's next to impossible to imagine for those families how they process, what will happen next. Primary Children's Hospital has a very special service that helps them during these incredible, difficult times.
News specialist Tamara Vaifanua now shares one family's experience with the bereavement service.
It's just mom and me. Right. I think the hardest part was watching him take his last breath.
Due to severe seizures, the Love Toplack family knew their time with their son Demetrius would be limited.
He had some beautiful brown eyes.
At 4 months old, Demetrius began having seizures.
His head would drop and his lips would turn blue.
Doctors at Primary Children's Hospital diagnosed him with a severe form of epilepsy.
Lennox-Gastaut is a drug-resistant type of epilepsy, so nothing worked.
As a result, he was never able to reach certain milestones.
He was never able to say, "I love you." So we could tell by his actions that he loved us.
Then came the respiratory issues.
Ultimately, over the years, his lungs just could not take catching the flu, catching colds.
Demetrius would be at Primary Children's Hospital several times a year for weeks at a time.
This was when he was 16.
Then after his 16th birthday, his health took a turn for the worse. Doctors told him they had only a few days left to prepare for his final moments.
They got a counselor and told us they didn't think there was any more that they could do that would help Demetrius. For me, it was really hard to soak that in. He was a doll. They had him in little baskets and everything.
This photo reminds Sonia of the strong bond she shared with her son.
I just, as a mom, I could only comfort him so much, and I could only hold his hand through so much.
It was taken in June of 2020, right before he passed away in their Roy home.
He was just lovable.
He was 16 years old.
I try to live for him because he couldn't, and he had a very strong will to live.
We probably work with about 180 families a year.
Jennifer Nyes is the bereavement coordinator at Primary Children's Hospital.
Our hope is that we are going to be able to offer some of that comfort and support that's much needed.
A chaplain granted Sonia's wish to baptize Demetrius, and staff took his handprints and footprints as a keepsake.
I was able to make charms from the footprints.
Something that they'll keep for a lifetime that's very sentimental to them.
A caseworker made arrangements for his journey home.
They set it up so that he was able to come home in an ambulance.
We also had a social worker that came to the house. He was able to tell us what to expect and when to expect it.
Having Demetrius home in his own bed, surrounded by family, meant everything.
We got to all hold his hand, just be there.
I remember telling him I loved him and I always miss him and it's okay.
3 days later, Demetrius passed.
That kind of pain is so deep. I don't think many people could truly understand it.
Caregivers were there to help the family then, and now even years after his death.
Part of our aftercare is offering support groups to parents.
An invaluable service that can benefit every family who faces grief and loss.
I found peace knowing that Demetrius is going to be okay without me until I see him again.
For KSL News, I'm Tamara Vaifanua.
And with tissues in hand, we're going to move forward and continue to talk about Demetrius' legacy, what it means to his family, who's joining me today, including his parents, Sonia and Jeff. Thank you all for being here. What a special kid. What a special kid. And we're so grateful that you shared his story with us. And as I walked into the studio today, we said hello. Tears were already flowing. It can't be easy considering how things ended. It can't be easy to show up and relive this story. Why are you choosing, Sonia, to give us your voice and your story today?
We want to share a piece of Demetrius. Yeah. He was such a loving boy and he loved everybody around him. And it's not easy as a mom to lose your child. It's probably the most excruciating thing to go through. It's just not comparable to many things. And it's very healing for me to be able to share my son's heart with everybody.
We felt it. We did. We felt him. And through you, he lives on with his story and all the light and the brightness he brought to your lives and now to ours. You both described Primary Children's Hospital to me in an interesting way. You said it's an integral part of our community. Why does your family feel that way?
Because if Primary wasn't here, Primary Children's, we probably wouldn't be in Utah now. Primary Children's was like a second home to us, and they made us feel like we were at home, you know, with everything. And they took care of us, and they took care of Demetrius, and they saved his life many times. And, you know, if it really wasn't for donations, I don't know how much they would have been able to do, you know?
And I see Elijah and Kingston nodding. You felt that too, that home feeling, which is say that about a hospital, I think says a lot. Thank you all for being here today. We really appreciate it. We do. And it's for reasons like this that we're asking you to join us today and raise money for the kids at the hospital. A touching story to think about and to ponder as you pick up that phone and make a donation. Casey, I'll send it out to you.
So many heartwarming, touching stories and education about what goes on at Primary Children's Hospital. Today is the Give-A-Thon, and you can help out by calling 801-575-KIDS. Now, behind us, we got the phone banks going, and they're taking calls throughout the day, and you can also donate another way by going to KSLKids.com. Another service provided by Primary Children's Hospital is pet owners. Pet owners provide roughly 1,000 hours of service each year. The therapy animal team has 23 dogs and 1 cat, and so it's services like that that really makes Primary Children's go above, and we can't do that of you and your donation. So the QR code, KSLKids.com or 801-575-KIDS. Let's throw it on over to Dan and see what he's got going as we continue this day of support.
Oh, well, it's busy, it's bustling, which is good on a day like today, the Give-A-Thon. Casey, the simple philosophy of the child first and always informs every decision that they make at the hospital. Each year, more than 85,000 children go there for treatment and for services. That is a lot of people. But because of the amazing people that work there, they're able to make each child feel special. Well, for 100 years, Primary Children's Hospital has been helping children, families, and communities all across the western United States. Regional. It's not just our state, it's regional. Primary Children's serves the largest geographical area for a children's hospital in the continental United States, serving children from Denver to the West Coast. The service area, get this, it spans 400,000 square miles, and that is 10% of the entire United States. Okay, well, I just want everybody to know, if you are trying to call right now, we have got folks on the phones here. They're on the phones in the lobby for Casey, and you've got the QR code in the corner of your screen, so please call, go online, kslkids.com, use the QR code. It's so easy. There's never been an easier way to donate what you can this year. Please be generous and help our Give-A-Thon. Brooke? Okay. We're going to go to break. We're going to come right back, but please keep this total going. We're going to give you an updated total of just how much we can raise for the Primary Children's Give-A-Thon in just a few minutes. Don't go away.
Welcome back to the KSL Give-A-Thon, and I have a very, very special guest, a lot of special guests with me today who all look dressed up and fancy and fine. 6-year-old Rocky Hunt and her family feel very grateful to live within the coverage area of Primary Children's Hospital, which, as we talked about, expands a great regional area after experiencing a serious accident at her home in Kanab back in 2020. Rocky, you spent 56 days at the hospital? Yeah. 56 days? That's a long time. But you told me there was one part of the hospital. A hospital isn't always a fun place to be. I know that, and I know it wasn't all fun, but there was one part of the hospital you described as your very favorite. What was that?
The toy room.
The toy room. I'm also joined by her beautiful family, led by Dad Shay and Mom Megan. Thank you all for being here. So there's a toy room at Primary Children's Hospital? Oh my goodness, Mom, how helpful was that toy room during that 56-day stay?
It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Such a gift to have just a place where she could feel normal. You know, to go into a space where it felt like home, she could just play. Yeah. Even though we had the tower and all the cords, it didn't matter. She could just be a kid.
Well, you think about the hospital not being a place you want your kid to be, but if she can be a kid while she's there, that makes it a little bit more doable. Shay, what stood out to you about the care and treatment you received at Primary Children's?
All the extra care. They bring, she loves crafts, and so they bring around paints and colors, and it was like Disneyland for Rocky. It was, every time we go back to primaries for all her different surgeries, she's always excited to go, which
says everything.
Strange,
yes.
But it's fun there.
All right, well, thank you all for being here. Beautiful family. Rocky, keep crafting, okay? And keep playing. And Quinn, and we have Martina and Cody as well. Beautiful family, you guys. Thanks for being here with us as part of the Give-A-Thon, and it's for kids just like Rocky that we are asking you to join us today. You can call the number on your screen or go online as well. Dan, are we ready for a total?
We're going to get to that in just a second. We will. So there's what we call in the news business a tease, right? It's a tease. When you think about all of the people who get helped at Primary Children's Hospital, often you think about the youngest, the most vulnerable. That comes to mind. But teenagers, they also receive treatment at this life-saving facility, and the caring specialists at the hospital work every day to ensure that adolescents' unique needs are being met. So thanks to generous donors like you, and of course, the Primary Promise, the new teen room was built this year. This new space was designed by teens, for teens, and it offers an engaging place specifically for them to hang out. Take a look at this new area.
You're in the teen room at Primary Children's Hospital, and welcome. Welcome to the teen room.
I was the vice president in the youth advisory committee, and so they came to us asking us to help them build a place where teens can come and just make friends and have fun.
The teens of having the lived experience of being teens in a hospital setting have really good ideas about what can make this hospital setting better.
I was brought to Primary Children's because I have 3 siblings with underlying health conditions. It's pretty insane to come into a room that we have sat down and looked at for many, many hours, and to see everything that we have put into play, like be put in front of our eyes.
So the importance of having a teen room is that we recognize the need for that type of resource, a place here that teenagers can feel comfortable, feel recognized, and that they have a space that's theirs to relax, to remember who they are beyond whatever's brought them in the doors here. And that comes through as an important feature in somebody's health care.
When I was 10, I was diagnosed with leukemia, so I came up here for treatment for about 3 years. It was scary. It's a really hard experience being in the hospital, and I feel like this space can help with making friends and being able to do things that teenagers do.
Being here in the teen room, we are going all out every day to do what we can to make the hospital experience more manageable, less traumatic, to support coping.
That's so cool. There's been so much work put into this room to help those in the hospital that aren't feeling that they're seen. Yeah, it's just an area where teens can come in here and feel that space where they can be by themselves and just know that even if something is happening to them, that they're being seen and that they have that place to go to where they can be away from all of the hospital.
All right, here we are outside of the phone banks, and currently we have a triple match going on right now. Now, to the date, right now we've raised $185,000, but thanks to Big Canyon Homes and Bob Campbell, we've got a triple match going. So 10 becomes 30, 30 becomes 90, 90 becomes 270. You can see how that adds up, but we want you to call right now, 801-575-KIDS. We got the phone banks behind us. Now, we've got them some sandwiches, and this is the lull before the storm, but it's been going well. So what are most people saying when they call up?
They're just happy to donate, and they're excited about the triple match.
So much, in fact, that one lady got out of the shower, ran down to grab her wallet.
Yes.
And you said a little too much information, but we thank you.
Yes.
And I love that. And so right now, give these ladies something to do. 801-575-KIDS. And, of course, you can also go to KSLKids.com and donate there. And then you got a QR code. So with that, we're going to make these phones ring. And while we wait for that, let's go over to Katya and see what she's got going on.
Oh man, I am certainly having the time of my life here at Festival of Trees. You don't even need to spend thousands of dollars on a tree. You can get a cream scone, and 100% of the proceeds, look at that, still go to Primary Children's Hospital. I'm joined again by Janet and Shauna with the Festival of the Trees. Now let's just talk about all the amazing people and what goes into putting this production on.
It is huge. It takes a year of planning, and it takes thousands of volunteers working in collaboration with our foundation staff to really pull this off and make it happen and think about all the logistics in addition to organizing the decorators, but even the logistics of bringing everything in and then taking it out and delivering them to people's homes.
Mm-hmm. And after 2 years of going essentially virtual, a lot of decorators too were sad to not be able to do this, but we have one who's been doing this for a long time. Kind of explain to me what we're looking at behind me, Shauna.
So this is a display done by Lowell Baum's family, and he turned 90 years old this year, and he has done 90 items for Festival of Tree to honor his birthday. His family's amazing, and he did items for Gift Boutique and trees and gifts all throughout our displays here, so he's amazing.
And what does this event mean to you? You've been doing this for quite some time, I take it.
It's just really touches your heart to know that you're helping, with the healthcare for children and their families and hoping to make their lives better.
Yeah, awesome. Well, you can come get a scone. It's not going to cost you that much, but it will do a lot for your heart. Auctioning is open till Thursday at 8 p.m., and you can come see all these beautiful trees and wreaths until this Saturday, guys.
Welcome back to the KSL Give-A-Thon for Primary Children's Hospital. It has been such an enjoyable morning. Can you hear the hum?
I'm telling you,
Can
it's
you
like a
feel
party
it?
in here right now.
I've loved meeting all of these darling patients and their families, and we have to pause and say thank you so much so far for the donations that you've sent in. We hope you've been inspired by the stories that we've been sharing. We truly live in such a generous community. We're grateful, but we still need more. We still need more people to pick up the phone or go to your computer and donate to Primary Children's Hospital. And we were chatting about this earlier. 100% of the donations that that come in today will go to the kids. That's important.
I always like to look at Charity Navigator. It's a site that ranks them on a star basis. This is a 4-star nonprofit. Intermountain is a nonprofit, and so everything going to primary children stays here. It stays here in Utah. You don't have to wonder, where is my donation dollar going, right? Big Canyon Homes, speaking of donation dollars, they made a big donation matching your donation, which is always a good thing, because you can give $1, but why not, re-up it?
We're going to stretch it just a little bit.
Stretch it.
We'll take a turn now. Learning that your child needs brain surgery, that would alarm any parent. But doctors at Primary Children's Hospital, they are performing less invasive procedures, thanks in part to an MRI designed specifically for kids.
A carefree moment like this is something Sammy Torres used to rarely experience.
Like out of nowhere, I would just be doing something and it just comes up and then it would happen.
An epileptic seizure. Sammy began having them when he was 11 months old, and they continued through childhood.
Like, I would usually just have them like a couple times a day, like usually every day, or some mornings, just like mornings, afternoons, or night.
It causes a lot of challenges in his life because he had to be on different medications. I feel like it delayed a lot of things for him.
Sammy couldn't participate in most childhood activities. On top of that, medications were expensive, and even those stopped working.
After a lot of procedures and testing and stuff, we came to the conclusion that he needed a surgery.
Sammy needed brain surgery.
I was really nervous to first go in.
But doctors at Primary Children's Hospital were able to perform a less invasive procedure.
I feel like now there's so much advancement in medicine that there's a lot of things that they can do. That surgery he went through, it was a laparoscopic, which is done with a laser.
Doctors used an eye MRI and light to essentially burn off overactive nerves in the middle of Sammy's brain. The eye MRI at Primary Children's Hospital is state-of-the-art and designed specifically for smaller bodies.
It really blew my mind to know that they could do that.
And since the surgery a year ago,
he's been seizure-free and he is not on any medications.
Now I just feel normal, like it feel way better. I can do things, go do my school and not like be all worried about it.
Seizure-free, worry-free, and now living a life like a normal kid. A mother's wish has finally come true. I'm Dan Spindle, KSL 5 News.
We're so glad he's doing well and thriving, and it's thanks to the great doctors here at Primary Children's Hospital. I do want to bring in and introduce you to Dr. Rajiv Iyer, a pediatric neurosurgeon, and just listening to Sammy's story and the capabilities of what you're able to do when it comes to brain surgery. Can you tell us a little bit about this MRI machine, how it all works?
Absolutely. We're really proud of the MRI machine. It's an intraoperative MRI, or eye MRI, which means it's an imaging study that we can do within surgery. So when we're in surgery, taking out a brain tumor, for example, brain tumors actually happen to be one of the most common forms of solid tumor in children. And so unfortunately we see a lot of that here because we serve the greater Salt Lake region and multiple neighboring states. So when we're taking out tumors intraoperatively and doing surgery to remove them, sometimes it's sort of indistinguishable between tumor and normal areas of brain, which are really important areas of brain. So to be able to distinguish those things, say we take out 98% of a tumor and we're not certain about one particular area that may represent a tumor deposit, we can pause the operation and get an MRI with the sterile field still there and really understand and be confident about whether we have the whole tumor removed or whether there's a small portion that remains, and then we can just go right back in and remove that area of concern.
That in and of itself is just truly remarkable. And I know here at Primary Children's Hospital, doctors are always forward thinking. Is there anything on the cusp right now that you're looking into to even further the work?
I think this represents a really the state-of-the-art in brain tumor removal in children. And not only that, with the story you just heard about epilepsy treatment as well, Dr. Robert Bolo, who's my colleague and our chief of the division, has been doing epilepsy surgery as well and really changing the lives of children. And I think that he's also utilizing things like robotics and laser ablation, and all of these technologies are really on the forefront to represent the state-of-the-art in terms of the treatment of brain tumors and epilepsy in children.
We appreciate the good work that you're doing here, Dr. Iyer. Thanks so much for your time. Let's go ahead and see what the latest total is, see how things are shaping up there back in the studio.
Well, the best part about not giving you a total for the last, 15 minutes or so is that it keeps building and building and building. The big reveal is coming now.
We've been waiting for it. Let's take a look at the big board behind us, and drum roll is cued. We will land at $194,620.
All right,
That's
yeah.
a good number to look at, and that's something to be proud of these last couple of hours. So thank you for everyone who has donated so far.
I'm just so excited about where it goes from here, right? We've got a lot of hours still to go.
There's room to grow.
We are excited that all of you are so generous. If you've got a little extra this time of year, we know you're thinking about family and friends. Please help those who need this help right now.
A portion of today's donations go to science and research, and that results in advancements that, in one specific case, have allowed some types of heart surgeries to be far less invasive than they were before. 12-year-old Carson Downing is grateful for that.
Yeah, he recently had to have surgery at Primary Children's Hospital, and for him, it was much easier this time than it was when he had open heart surgery as an infant. Here's his story.
Opie, come on. 12-year-old Carson Downing is always on the go with his brother and dog close by.
Sit, shake. Good boy.
How do you like better, your dog or your brother?
I don't know.
Carson and his twin brother Graham entered the world just a few minutes apart.
You know, he was 5 pounds. He was 2 pounds bigger than Carson.
Carson was diagnosed with tetralogy of Fallot at birth, a very rare heart condition that causes oxygen-poor blood to flow out of the heart and into the rest of the body. Surgery closed the holes in his heart, but didn't cure the heart condition.
He has yearly checkups with a cardiologist to make sure that his oxygen levels are good and that his heart is doing well.
But during his last checkup, the doctors discovered one side of his heart was growing larger.
The way the heart kind of compensates by pumping extra flow every time it pumps, because it pumps the normal amount of blood plus whatever leaks back, is that area gets kind of stretched. So this is a transcatheter pulmonary valve.
A heart valve needed to be replaced before the strain on Carson's heart turned into damage. But rather than perform an invasive open heart surgery, Dr. Robert Gray was able to use a catheter thanks to medical advancements.
The technology is booming, and it's exciting, especially for our patients, because these newer technologies where we can replace a heart valve through the vein in the leg, as opposed to having repeated open heart surgeries where they have to open the chest and go on the heart-lung bypass machine.
I didn't really feel nervous. I was just like, oh, it's happening.
Instead of being in the hospital several weeks healing from heart surgery, Carson was up and playing within a week.
Yeah, the recovery was so much easier.
But eventually, he will need another valve replacement. The hope is, one day, these valve replacements will last permanently.
And the only way they're going to get that is to be able to do the research and have the funding to make those advancements possible.
That's where donations can make a difference. In the meantime, Carson and his family are grateful for every day he gets to spend just being a regular kid.
He's struggled being a little kid with his heart issue, and you know, I hope he just continues to keep growing and getting healthier.
Lori Pritchard, KSL 5 News.
And joining me now in studio is the Downing family. Thanks for being here, everybody. That is quite a story. Carson, you're feeling good now.
Yep.
We're so glad to hear it. We're so glad to hear it. And I say a neat story. There's many layers to that. I think one, Mom and Dad, is that you have actually seen the advancement. You have seen firsthand the benefits of the research, which is one of the reasons we're here. How amazing was that from a parental perspective to see the difference between surgery 1 and surgery 2?
Yeah, when his first surgery happened, he was barely 12 pounds. They told us he'd be in the hospital 10 days. He was in there 30. You know, he's hooked to tons of wires and cables and all of the things, and, you know, has a huge scar from that. And, you know, it was a full open heart surgery at 6 months old. And this one was so less invasive, and the recovery was so easy. It's really been a blessing.
I can tell there's still a tone of marvel in your voice.
Yeah, it is. It's really amazing to see the progress that has been made with the advancements. You know, this surgery they were able to do through a catheter in his leg, and like I said, he was home in a day and a half.
Yeah.
So,
John, what do you think people should know about Primary Children's Hospital?
Just that we're fortunate to have a hospital that has this technology available now. I mean, when we moved out here from Indiana in 2011, And we knew that he would have to have a valve replaced at some point. And so they said, well, maybe if we can prolong this, we can get to where you can do it through the catheter. And we were, and that's just an amazing difference between the two.
And now hoping for that next step, a more permanent valve, which could come in his lifetime. That's amazing to think about, and donations like yours can help make that a possibility. Carson, rumor is the chocolate milkshakes at Primary Children's Hospital are pretty good. Have you had a chance to test that theory? No? We got to get you back there for a chocolate milkshake. You deserve that and more.
On that.
Glad you're feeling better, buddy. Good to see you too, brother, and thanks for being here, you guys, and sharing your story. We really appreciate it. Casey, we love to hear stories like that. I also would love to hear you say the phones are ringing.
You know what? The phones have been ringing, but there's a little lull in the action right now. Currently, over $194,000 has been raised, and that's going to go throughout the day. So what I'm now is encouraging you to do is to pick up your phone and text a friend, a family member, a loved one, and say, hey, the KSL Give-A-Thon is going on right now for Primary Children's Hospital. Here are the numbers. Here's the QR code. Right now, there's a triple match going on, so that becomes 20 becomes 60, 60 becomes 180, and it's thanks to Big Canyon Homes and Bob Campbell. So we want these phones to ring right now, and all you have to do is call the number 801-575-KIDS. That's 801-575-KIDS, or you can do kslkids.com to donate money there, or as you can see at the bottom of the screen, there's a little QR code there. You pick up your phone again, the one you just texted friends to donate to, go to your camera, hover over the QR code, a little yellow square is going to pop up, hit that, and it'll give you directions on how you can donate right now. So look at these lovely faces. They want to work. They want to take your money and give it to a great cause, which is the Primary Children's Hospital. So put these guys to work, will you? We're going to make sure we're going to see how they do it coming back. So just stick around. More from the Give-A-Thon coming up.
Hey, welcome back to the KSL Give-A-Thon for Primary Children's Hospital. We are so glad you have joined us today. We all know medical bills can really stretch a family budget to the brink, especially in a financial time like we're experiencing. The Family Assistance Fund was established to provide families with emergency resources to ease the stress of having a child in treatment.
Yeah, you don't want to have to wonder if you can take care of your family, right? Some of the resources provided by this fund include public transportation, vouchers, gas cards, replacement clothing, food, and so much more. Your gift ensures that families can focus completely on the child's healing during treatment. So please give generously. Again, think of what your donation can do for your friends, your neighbors.
It can do a lot. You know, the average age of the patients seen at Primary Children's Hospital, average age is 7 years old, but the reach of care for the kids who are seen there continues to grow. Julia Sherman has benefited from the teen to adult transition program up at the hospital. Here's her story.
Julia Sherman is a scientist, a triathlete.
I just raced my first half Ironman in July of this year.
And a type 1 diabetic.
There's a lot of things that can go wrong with type 1. I require insulin injections on a daily basis.
For a child, diabetes is a scary diagnosis.
I was one of the first participants in the study.
That study was 7 years ago, conducted by the University of Utah, involving teens with diabetes at Primary Children's.
That was like a crash course on how to be a type 1 diabetic, how to take care of yourself.
Julia was transitioning from high school in Utah.
It can be overwhelming to think about managing your own health care.
To college in California.
Go all the way to Berkeley, live in a college dorm by myself, go to my own appointments, refill my own prescriptions. I mean, I didn't know how to do any of that.
Check your blood sugar, take insulin.
Stephanie's son knows how critical those transition years are. She was with the teen to adult transition program at the beginning.
They really have to understand the seriousness of it. Type 1 diabetics, if they go a day or two without insulin, they'll be in the ER in a diabetic ketoacidosis coma, just like that.
The hope is to expand the work done with teens and diabetes to other young patients and disciplines.
So we want all of the clinics doing the same work. And if we can expand the program, then we can touch so many more patients.
I really look back to my time at Primary Children's when I'm calling upon what I want in a care team and the kind of people that are most helpful when working through these issues.
Shara Park, KSL 5 News.
Yeah, that program has really made a difference in a lot of the children's lives here at Primary Children's Hospital. I want to bring in Dr. Angelo Giardino here, who can tell us a little bit more about the importance of this teen to adult transition.
Well, Tamara, it's so important for the transition from the pediatric care setting to the adult setting to happen in a purposeful way, so that then the child who's becoming an adult can really start taking responsibility for their care.
And how important is it for them to take that responsibility, but also some accountability? I imagine it gives them some confidence so that they can just kind of forge ahead and feel really good about where they're going.
It's all about skill building. So there's a certain set of skills that you get in all sorts of different parts of your life as you become an adult. So we want to help them learn those skills so that they can manage their condition. And it does give a sense of competency when you can start taking responsibility for your own care.
And then support for the parents, right, in encouraging their child as they're making this transition. How vital is that?
Well, being a parent is a really tough job, and they've been taking responsibility for their child's condition for an awfully long time. So it's oftentimes really hard for them to loosen those reins and give that up. So we do have to support and encourage them as well.
Some more great tools for parents and resources. Thanks so much for chatting with us. We appreciate you. Let's go ahead and check in with my colleague, Katya Stepovic. She's been hanging out at the Festival of Trees. See how things are going there. Katya?
Things are going so great, Tamara. It is definitely the season of giving. And did you know, even if you just purchase a ticket to come down here at the Festival of Trees, that 100% of that goes to Primary Children's Hospital. It is such an amazing event. And I'm joined by Giveathon Dyer. Tell me a little bit about what we're looking at behind me. Every setup is different.
Yes, every setup is different. This particular one is by Bridal of Hope, and it's an organization that is dedicated to help women and young women with mental health struggles.
And that's so important. If, you know, even if you can't afford to, you know, spend thousands of dollars on something like this, every single penny counts. And why is this so important to do annually for these kids?
Well, it gives an opportunity for people not only just to donate, but to heal. You know, a lot of people have lost loved ones, and they dedicate these different trees and gingerbread houses, and I mean, there's over 1,000 auction items here that are dedicated to people that they love, and it's just a way to give back to the hospital and be a part of that.
Absolutely. And you said 500 trees, right?
Over 500
just trees. So you can imagine, I'm seeing quilts, wreaths, you name it. So if you have the ability to, please give this year. These kids certainly need it. Guys.
All right,
wow, we're getting educated on all the things. Actually, it's been so fun this morning chatting with the kids and their families, and you just learned a dance move?
It's called the gritty, and all the kids are doing it, and it's just kind of a shuffle of your feet, and I'm not prepared to unleash it on the world just yet.
If you donate right now, Casey will stop dancing.
Wait, it looked a little different when he did it.
Yeah, no, it looked a lot better.
I appreciate the effort. Hey, thank you so much, everyone who has donated so far, and the donation opportunity continues throughout the day because you can go online.
Yeah, final numbers. How about it? Let's unveil. Let's move out of the way here.
Gritty back.
The final total for this hour. Oh, there we go. $207,577. Thank you so much for making this an incredibly successful program here. But again, we don't stop right now.
No, the phones will still be taking donations online as well, and that QR code. You trained us very well on that.
Yeah, all you do is pull out your camera and hover it over that, and then it's going to tell you what to do. As you can see, the phone bank is going right now.
Yeah, we need to give them some love.
Yep.
Off you go. Let's go check it out.
Come on over here and look at them. They're picking up the phone.
There's a couple in the back, though.
But look in the camera and say thank you guys very much for donating today. And they're going to be open all day until tonight. And then you can do that. KSLKids.com, 801-575-KIDS. Or just make sure you got the QR code and you can do that.
Are you having a great time?
We're having a great time.
Yeah, we've got a couple phones
We're
available.
loving it. I've got somebody on the line right now that is donating. So
can I talk to him?
Will you talk to this person online or on the phone? Okay, here you go.
Hi, Casey Scott with KSL. Who's this? Hi, Deanne Nye. How much are you donating today? $100, which becomes $300 because we've got the triple match going on. That's amazing. Thank you very much for your support. God bless you, and I love you.
You made her day.
Oh, she knows me.
Oh, well, of course she does. How much do you love that the old school telephone calls are still, and I'm yelling here, they're like, come on, we're trying to take these donations. The old school telephone calls are still working. So again, 801-575-KIDS, 575-5437 is the number if you would like to call. But that little box in the corner of your screen, that's also the QR code, as we call it. That's made things so convenient, right?
I'm back here in the cheap seats, and there's at least one gentleman to my left who would love a call. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, sir. What's your name?
Justin.
Justin, how badly would you like a call?
I would love to answer a phone call with a big donation right now with the triple.
Yes, we are feeling that. Okay, so most of our volunteers busy. That's good, but we'd like those phones to keep ringing, and we'd like more money to come in. Casey, it's not just KSL TV right now, but our colleagues at KSL Radio are also taking donations and telling stories on their airwaves as well.
That's all right. As you can see, they're on the air right now, but we got Mr. Kaplan himself here. I'm going to steal you real quick. Okay. Look, I'm just causing controversy wherever I go. So, you know what? I'm going to take this time. I'm going to talk in soft tones because everybody's doing their job. Give us a call, 801-575-KIDS. That's 5437. KSLKids.com is another way to donate. And, of course, you can just go to the QR code. So I'm going to throw it over to Dan and Brooke right now, and they're going to tell us what we're doing.
All right, I got to say something funny. How Jeff told Kira, his colleague, to go interrupt them the other time. And I was like, hey, hold on, I'm on the air. I'm on the air, Casey. Shh.
Hush tones, hush tones. We want to take a look back and celebrate all of the kids who have made today possible and all of the kids we're here for as we raise money for Primary Children's Hospital.